Hey everybody, I'm Tim, and this one's for your fitness. You're watching Cigars Daily. Get more out of this video when you join the community on Cigars Daily Plus. And for this video, I just lit up the Aganorsa Guardian of the Farm Cerberus. I love this cigar with this really nice Corojo wrapper. Very smooth, yet complex flavor with just a little bit of spice. It's like a 1 or 2 on the spice scale. It's not overwhelming even if you don't like spice. Great cigar to sit as we ponder cigars and fitness. The world of premium cigars is as deep as it is wide. There is so much to know, and I never cease to be impressed by how people like to dive into premium cigars and learn everything there is to know. It's just one of those hobbies that a lot of dudes will get into and just be like, I gotta know the leaves, I gotta know the varietals, I gotta know everything about it, including how it impacts our lives. I'll tell you guys, I've been doing this cigar video thing for a long damn time, and this is actually the first time I've ever gotten a question on this topic of cigars and fitness. Certainly, I've done plenty of videos on cigars and health and the health impacts of cigars, but this is just a little bit different, and I wanted to take you guys inside this comment because I thought it was really well done. It's from first of all, it's from someone that definitely sounds like a bot, okay? User IC7 versus 8QJ8. Okay, so clearly, just a name. Sounds like a person wrote this, and so I'm going to read this. I think the question is relevant regardless of whether you, sir, user, are a bot or not. User says, question. I hope this is not a silly question. I love to work out. I work out all the time. Will cigars make you out of shape? When you take a puff off a cigar, do you immediately puff the smoke out so that you are not inhaling the smoke? If any can help, I sure would appreciate it. Thank you guys, Steve. Okay, so Steve does have a name, thank God. And this is actually more than one question, but I wanted to dive into this because, like I said, I've done some videos on health, but this whole topic of fitness is very special and important to me, Steve. Like you, I love to work out, and I work out a lot too, which for some reason those sentences to me sound like the start of a children's book. But this is definitely not a children's book. So let's dive into this topic of working out, especially on the puffing and blowing the smoke out. I'm going to cover both of those right now. And to do so, I have to do some things up front, and I sort of have to do this video in a specific way. And the first thing I got to do is this. I have to tell you, premium cigars are not healthy for you. They're not good for your health. And smoking them will come with an associated risk that every adult has to consider for themselves. They're definitely not a safe alternative to cigarettes. But when it comes to this topic of cigars and fitness, my best thing that I have to give you is an anecdotal story, which is my story of how premium cigars have affected me and my world of fitness that, like I said, I also love. And I think everybody's a little different, and so you should definitely be consulting your own body, consulting your own mind, and consulting your own medical professionals when you determine what's good for your body. That being said, this has been my experience. If you guys don't know, there has been a long time when I was in the world of cigars where, well, I was a little pudgy. I was a little overweight and certainly carried around more than I wanted to in terms of fatness. And this is something that I've done for a long time. In fact, ever since high school, I was kind of like rolling around roly-poly style. Then a couple of years ago, I ran into some pretty serious health issues that landed me into the hospital for a little while, and that really changed a lot of my mindset about my life and sort of thinking about how I was going to live and what I wanted out of life, and that's when I started really focusing on my physical fitness. That was running, boxing, biking, anything I could do to get my heart rate up and really get that joy out of the endorphins thing that, people who work out are basically obsessed with all the time. And when I first started doing it, I was a little bit concerned about smoking premium cigars. After all, I do smoke 5 to 7 cigars a day, and That's a lot. That's a lot of cigars to smoke. So how is this going to work? Especially being that one of my primary goals has to be to compete as an amateur boxer. This is something that I've done before. I've had like 5 fights in the amateur boxing world and including a couple of cage matches in there. And so now I want to fight again, but man, when you smoke a lot of cigars, could I even get the stamina to do it? So over the last couple of years, I have changed a lot about my diet, the way that I sleep, what I am willing to put in front of my eyes and put into my mind, what I'm willing to put in my body, and certainly what I'm willing to do to exercise. I've even changed how much I drink, and all of this done, the only thing that I was not willing to change is my use of premium cigars. I still smoke about 5 to 7 cigars a day, and I tell you all of that to break down these points for you. This has been my experience. At this point in my life, I'm 39 years old, and I have what I would consider to be the best physical fitness that I have had to this point in my life. The last mile that I ran was 8 minutes and 18 seconds. My resting heart rate is 47 beats a minute. That's so low that the last time I got a physical, my doctor was legitimately concerned for me until she asked, she's like, have you been working out a lot or something like that? And I said, yes, I've been working out. She's like, oh, okay, well, that's why. At the same time, my blood results come back and all of my results of my blood test are basically perfect. Wherever the acceptable range on each metric of your blood test is, every single one of them was like dead smack in the middle of exactly where it should be for a person who is very healthy. Every indicator that I have in my life at this moment, aside from the fact that I'm a little older and things in general just don't work as well as they used to, and I'm at 39, I'm starting to have a little bit of pain here and there, and getting punched in the head is arguably probably worse for you than a cigar here and there. But certainly at this point, I find myself in incredibly good shape. At least I consider myself to be in good shape, and I'm loving the way that I'm walking around. I've even managed to lose, what has it been, like 70 pounds at this point since the last couple of years. This has been a huge accomplishment for my life, but most importantly, all of this while I've been in the world of cigars and making videos for you guys. And I tell you that for 2 reasons. I think that really what plays into this whole topic of premium cigars and how it impacts your body has to do with usage. And certainly the studies that we do on premium cigar use bear this out. When you look at how we use premium cigars, and this is really versus all the other segments of the tobacco world, premium cigar usage is just different. Like, you don't smoke a pack of cigars a day. I mean, I do. I smoke 5 to 7 cigars a day, but most people will smoke 1 to 2 cigars a day, or even less, a cigar occasionally, maybe once a week, once a month. A lot of people will even smoke just a few cigars a year. So cigar usage is definitely very different than it is with other segments of tobacco, like dip, snuff, snus, chew, all that other stuff, and especially cigarettes. And then the other big one touches on Steve's other part of his question. He says, when you take a puff off a cigar, do you inhale, or do you immediately puff out the smoke so that you're not inhaling the smoke? And that part is really, I think, the other big key to it. The studies where we look at the health of premium cigar smokers, one of the things they say is that the all-cause mortality for cigar smokers is not higher than that of non-smokers. So essentially what that means is that the things that are killing cigar smokers and the rate at which cigar smokers are dying is not more or faster than people who don't smoke at all. And so when it comes down to why that is, really has to do, I think, a lot with this usage point and the fact that premium cigar smokers don't inhale. And you shouldn't inhale. If you're inhaling cigars, for the love of God, you should definitely stop doing that. Premium cigars, like the wine snobby snobs who sip on a wine and then they spit it out and then they throw the glass against the wall, that's really what being a cigar smoker is like, although I think it's a little more manly in a lot of people's minds. At the end of the day, it truly is not about getting a fix or a buzz or a nicotine kick. That's not the thing that real cigar smokers are after. If you look at the world of cigar people, the things that we love about cigars are flavor, a good premium cigar flavor profile, something that's intricate, complex, or if you don't get flavor notes, something that just hits your palate right, that gives you something on the palate that you like. We also like the community that cigars create. Like, there's just something about cigars that cigarettes certainly don't seem to have, or when you sit down with another cigar smoker, you can kind of like get along a little bit better than some schlub you just met off the street. Premium cigars also give you this like hobby, lifestyle, and highly collectible thing that seems to drive people absolutely nuts. So these are all things that people love about cigars that are totally outside the world of just like a nicotine buzz. And so, yeah, when you smoke a cigar, like the goal is to taste what is there to taste and blow the smoke out without inhaling it. And I've found that by doing that regularly throughout the day in a well-ventilated space or outside, I'm still able to run well. I can still fight 9 to 12 rounds when I do sparring at the gym. Like, my stamina is pretty damn good. All that being said, that doesn't mean that in 5 or 10 years, I won't start to notice the effects of this stuff on my life. So before someone jumps in the comments and they're like, well, it's a cumulative effect and it's going to ruin your future. Certainly, there are risks associated with cigars, and I don't ever want to lead anybody down a road that would cause them to think otherwise. There are risks with a lot of the things that we do these days. I mean, hell, most of the things that I get from Amazon have a California cancer health warning on them now because most things do that. I got free weights. My dad and I, we bought Bowflex adjustable weights that had a cancer risk on them from California. Everything comes with a warning label these days, and we all have to decide what we are and aren't willing to include in our lives. For me, premium cigars are a foregone conclusion. I love them. For you, you may be considering this with your fitness life or with your family, and you should definitely look at all the variables there within. This is just some of my experience. And of course, I'll encourage you to check this video out on the community on Cigars Daily Plus. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. This is Tim, signing off for Cigars Daily, and I'll see you in the comments.